What's going on, guys? My name is Pone, and I felt like talking about something kind of important to me. Actually, it's really important to me. Boobs. No. Not that it's not important, it's just not as important as this. Collectively, maybe, but one boob, no. Singular, no. So, I wanted to talk to you guys about bullying, and every once in a while, I like to do a real talk, and this is something I've talked on about homosexuality, racism, whatever. I like to talk about topics that may not be the most appealing thing in the world, but they're important to me, and they should be important to a lot of people, and bullying definitely falls into a weird realm. I mean, people can be looked down upon for lots of different things. Some things can be criminal, some things can be, oh, he does drugs. Illegal. Selling drugs. Illegal. That's kind of how things go. But there's no real, like crime for bullying. It's just something that happens, and there's no real way to counter it. You don't serve time for bullying unless you go and beyond the realm of what's normal and you actually harm somebody. So, truth is, it's a very, very sensitive subject to me because I saw it a lot in school. I grew up, and I'm not saying this to, do anything differently, but I grew up in all black school. I was one of 5 white kids, and they often tried to pick on me because I was different. I'm not going to say, oh, they picked on me because I'm white. They picked on me because I'm different. It's just how it is. And I didn't play it. I didn't let people bully me. I'd be an asshole back or I'd fight them. It's just how it is. I would stand my ground. So it wasn't so much of a problem to me. It was my friends were not independent or strong enough to do that. And I would see it happen to my friends. And these are kids that I grew up with. These are people that I would consider family. White, black, doesn't matter. And bullying is definitely a plague on the world right now. Kids deal with it more than anything, but it happens in the workplace too. Adults deal with it. Hell, there's a big thing going on right now with football players. If football players are putting up a flag saying, he bullied me, it's probably kind of a thing. At first I read that and I'm laughing. I'm like, is a 350-pound man saying somebody bullied him? And you got to understand that there are emotional consequences and scars that go behind this thing. If a professional football player can say, he bullied me, then you have to know that it's not always just physical. There are different types. And I'm going to give you 2 stories of situations that I've dealt with in real life with some of my friends, 2 entirely different situations. And I wanted to spread awareness to this because truth is, there is nothing like crime. There's nothing cops can do. You can't call somebody and say, he stole my... Well, actually, you can if they're stealing, but you know what I mean? He called my mom fat, and she really is fat or something. You can't really, do anything like that. And it's a serious situation because it treads this very, very unusual, damn near invisible line. To me, bullies, and this is a hard thing for an actual victim of a bully to understand and believe, but bullies are, in fact, victims themselves. No one just wakes up on the day and is like, hey, I want to shit on somebody. It doesn't happen like that. It does not happen like that. Victims are just, they're everywhere. And the world is cruel. Everybody's a victim in some way or another. Bullies tend to reciprocate that. They flip it around. They put it towards other people. Something's going on in that person's life that made them that way. And it's still going on. Whether it's a bad upbringing, they get beat, their dad does it to them, and they do it back to other people because that's all they know. And they just transfer it. It's a handful of things that could happen that way. Lack of love, drugs, depression, problems at home with the wife. Many different things can happen. And the first thing you have to understand is the bullies are also a victim. And I know that sounds weird for you to say, and you may not have the compassion for them that you would like the actual victim of a bully, but it's there. It's just a little bit deeper and more camouflaged. So I think that there's a very specific way that you have to try to take care of this and handle this thing, and not a lot of them are very easy or successful. Truth is, I got bullied. I handled it a few different ways, in ways that I didn't like. I would, and many a times I would get in fight. Somebody be just for laughs and giggles. I got fight in the office one time because some kid just wanted to be funny, and he was walking in and walked right by me and called me Casper. I just wasn't having it. He really chose the worst day. I was in the office because I was misbehaving. Chose the worst day to be a smartass. I pushed his head in the fucking door and smashed him. Don't even matter. It's just one of those things, So that was based on racism, he was trying to be slick and smooth and just be an asshole, and it didn't work out. So that's not the way to handle it. That's not how you handle something like that. I know that's one of the things, and that's a way to get respect. A lot of it comes down to respect when you're in school and kids and stuff. And truth is, I regret doing that. I shouldn't have done that, because that's not the way you handle anything. He didn't fuck with me again, that was for sure. But it was just one of those things that you shouldn't do, and it's a very sensitive thing to do because you don't know how to do it. Because like I said, the bully itself is a victim, so why would you want to hurt another person that's suffering too? So that's why it's really, really confusing to me. It's a really, really sensitive area. Now, the story I want to tell you about, the first story, is one that I want to tell you about where I got into a fight with a kid. Again, handled it the wrong way because he was bullying my friend. Now, for you to understand this, you have to understand that I grew up with this kid. We did bowling together. We did soccer together. I knew this kid for 10 years. He was like a brother to me. You have those friends that you grow up with, and they're basically family, and he was at this point. We fell off. We didn't talk to each other past, high school or anything like that, but he was family to me at the time. This was middle school. This was before kids know how to, mentally or emotionally handle things properly. You just fight. It's just how it is in middle school. So he got picked on all the time. Now, his family, he only had a mother who was extremely overweight, and she was a hoarder. Now, if you guys do not know what a hoarder is, it's a person that basically keeps all kinds of stuff. Their entire house was full of boxes, and it paints you an image. The first time I went over to the house, I was disgusted. They had a dog that was blind. There was piss and shit all over the aisles. Yes, aisles in their house. There were boxes to the ceiling. Went up into the bathroom, just showing around. He showed me his bed. The beds were covered with boxes. They slept like in a small little aisleway downstairs. The bathroom, the bathtub, stacked full of boxes of stuff. It was the most disgusting environment I've ever seen. Like, it put all the videos that you see on those television shows about hoarders or images to shame. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. But I'm not going to tell him that, because I loved him. He was basically family, like I said. But because of all of that, his hygiene was horrible. He went months, if not years, without showering. And it was because, well, the bathroom was full up of stuff. He couldn't brush his teeth. He couldn't shower. There was nowhere else to put those boxes, and it just became a part of him. So he would come to school greasy, nasty, smelly, and truth is, it would bother me too. But I'd put up with it because, I cared about him as a person, and I understood what his lifestyle was like. Other people didn't, but I also couldn't just tell everybody at school, don't make fun of him because he can't help it. He can't shower because all the boxes are in there. You just can't do that. So it was a very sensitive situation. So he'd always get made fun of. So my job was to step up and do the only thing I knew how to do, and that was try to beat the shit out of the other guy. And that's how I handled that. That's how I guess protected him, because he wouldn't do it, and I couldn't let that happen. The worst thing you can do when dealing with a bully is stand by. If you're seeing it, you need to do something about it. And there are times in my life where I don't. In TeamSpeak, for example, there are a couple guys that always bully one specific individual, and it drives me nuts. And before now, I let it go because I want to see that person stand on their own and stand up and do something about it, because this person is an adult. And it never happened, so I'm going to intervene. The worst thing you can do is stand by while somebody gets bullied. You have the responsibility to help that person out, because sooner or later it's going to happen to somebody you love, and you're going to want somebody to help them out too. You're going to have kids. I'm going to have a kid. That's the one thing I'm worried about. I'm not worried about him not being fit. I'm not worried about him getting his education. I'm worried about people bullying him. That's my concern. I will help him all I can, and he won't deal with it, but it's just something you deal with. Story number 2. This one was a little bit tricky. This one was also in middle school, the same middle school. And we were in gym class one day where all the boys were in the locker room. And another one of my friends, he got de-pantsed. So it was basically the process of kids were pranking, came up, pulled his pants down. This kid was we're in middle school. Some kids aren't through puberty yet. And some kids don't hit it until high school. He got de-pantsed and he hadn't been there. So he had a baby dink, and it's expected. There's nothing he could do about that. He got made fun of. Of course, it got out of there, and he came to school every day getting embarrassed over and over and over again. Oh, you've got a tiny penis, you got a tiny dick. And, to guys, to society, to media, that's everything. That if that happened to a man, and he wasn't, of average size or anything like that, that would be embarrassing and be a hard thing to live with. And to have to come to school every day and have people make fun of you and that be your nickname, that'd be hard to do. You know what I'm saying? I remember one day in specific, and this was a day that I was embarrassed about because I didn't do something about it. There was a day that they were just making fun of him on recess. They were poking fun at him. These guys were, you know, like the cool kids leaning up against the wall with their girlfriends in arm. And one girl stepped up and said, "Stop making fun of him." She came over, she grabbed him, she walked away with him, had a talk with him. And out loud, she said, "You know, it's okay. It's going to happen sooner or later. You're going to go through it. You're going to be okay." She stepped up. And I remember her name as clear as day. Regine. That was her name. And she was one of the sweetest people I ever met. I sat by. I did nothing. She stepped up. The girl stepped up and said, "Hey, bud, it's okay. You know, it's going to happen. You'll be okay one day. Don't listen to these guys. They're assholes." And she did that in front of a crowd. Her boyfriend included. Put him to shame and embarrassed him right there. Stepping up can do a lot. Stepping up can do a lot. And she did it that day. A few months later, he took his life. How do you do that? How do you come to school every day? How do you wake up every day to know that they're going to make fun of you for something out of your hands? Puberty you can't control. You can't push a button and, oh, it's buffering. It's not something that happens. It was out of his hands, and he got made fun of every day. And probably even if it does happen, he's not going to just whip his dick out. Look, it's bigger! It's going to happen forever. That would have been his permanent nickname for the rest of his school year. Or for school years, excuse me. He took his life. The last story, another similar situation. And this was actually in high school. This was when I was older. And this guy, he was gay. And I think his name was Jordan. I only know him by Jasmine, though. Yes, he was the boy formerly known as Jordan, I think it was. And he was gay. He got made fun of. And it was really, really rough because this was a different one. This wasn't humiliation. This wasn't embarrassment. This was bullying by force. He would get beat because he was gay. After school, boom, guess what? You're getting beat because you were gay. And I saw it. And these were guys that if I would have stepped in, I'd have got my ass beat because there were like 3 or 4 of them, and they were much bigger than me. And for the same reason why a lot of guys do not fight back bullies is because they know they're probably going to get their ass beat. Let me tell you something. Emotional pains are really hard to fix. Busted lip or something, it'll say something. Believe it or not, the message is, if you need to actually use force, believe it or not, the message is, it comes down to respect. If you jump in to fight 4 dudes and you know the situation is going to be bad and you're going to get your ass beat and you take those beatings, they're going to stop because they're not going to get that satisfaction out of you anymore. Just real talk, take an ass beating, that's going to heal. You'll actually feel better about it because you stepped up. It does wonders. And if you let them keep beating you up instead of, they're trying to take something from you when they beat you down, when they take you down. But if you let them do it, they're not getting that satisfaction anymore. They're going to get bored with it. They're going to stop. And I know it sounds weird. The best way to handle a bully is mentally. Confuse him, sidetrack him, maybe even legitimately sit down and talk to him about it when nobody's around, because most of it's for show. They're going to pop out. They're going to do something for a reaction, to feel loved, to feel attention. That's what they want. When you take that away from them, or you maybe actually talk to them behind the scenes, you may find out why they are the way they are. You may be able to tell them, hey, could you please stop doing this? If not, another counter way, sadly, is to bully a bully. Do something embarrassing to him. But again, like I said, remember, they are tortured too. They have their issues too. But anyways, back on topic. Now with the guy, he got beat up all the time. And so he would wake up every day going to school and knowing that there's a very good chance that he's going to get beat up or punched or pushed or abused physically. And the only reason why was because he was different, because he was gay. Fans or not of homosexuals or not, he was a person. He had a family. He loved food. He licked the top of the yogurt lid when he pulled it off. We're all people. And he was just different. So fans or not of homosexuals, he was still a person. That was somebody's kid. You know what I'm saying? He got beat for just being different. And that does take a toll on you. And you know what happens every day. Every day you keep getting beat. And then it starts to whittle into your mind. You're like, why am I getting beat? It's because I'm different. It's being gay is bad. I shouldn't be gay, but I can't help who I am. So they start losing who they are. They start feeling that they are wrong. There's something wrong with them. He took his life too. It's sad. Almost every high school has these experiences. They have these stories of kids that take their lives. And it almost always comes down to bullying. But there's no way to enforce it. There's no laws. I mean, they're trying to do things about it. The best way to do it is awareness. So that's what this video is today, guys. If you're a bully, I love you. Just letting you know. You may not get it in your life, but things will turn out. Things will turn out better. Things are always going to turn out, but you need to make a step forward, and you don't need to bring other people down. You don't know who you're impacting. You don't know. Those kids were responsible for those boys taking their lives. Not everybody's strong enough to get through something like that. And to me, that's murder. Bullying should be counted like that. If a guy is pushed to himself, like the little girl that killed herself, that was on Facebook months back, whatever it was, killed herself because she got drunk at a party and a couple guys raped her or something and took pictures of her naked and put her on Facebook in front of her family and the world to see. That's bullying. She took her life. To me, they should be charged for murder because what they did for her was extremely humiliating and it put her beyond the point. They should be charged for something. It's a cruel act. But like I said, people that do it, there's a reason for it too. So it's a really, really sensitive thing. Let me know if you enjoyed the video. These real talks do only come around every once in a while, but hopefully you guys made it this long. If you did, smack the like button. It's always appreciated. But think about this. Remember this. And by far, don't be a bystander. That's the worst thing you can do is let it happen to other people. Stand up. If you're a bully, start reconsidering what you're doing. Don't make fun of other people because they're fat or different or gay or black or white because they're different. Don't do that. If you are, in fact, a victim of a bully and you don't know what to do, try to use intellect. Try to outsmart them. Try to sit down and actually talk to them. And I mean, you may think it's weak to ask, hey, stop hurting me. It's not. It takes courage to do that kind of stuff. And if not, like I said, physical often works. They get the enjoyment out of embarrassing you. But if you act crazy or you look for them or you just completely randomly, I did this once. I got bullied. A guy tried to beat me up one day. It got broke up. It turned into a fight. Next day, came to school. First thing I did when I got in the lunchroom, came right up next to him, punched him right in the face. He didn't even know how to react. He recovered. He brought his hand to his face, and he was in awe. He was shocked. He's like, what did that just happen? He didn't get pissed. I'm going to beat you up, nerd. He was shocked that it happened. I stood up for myself. And in turn, I did it without thinking in the entire lunchroom, and that embarrassed him. He got made fun of for it. In that moment, I was a bully. I handled it wrong. So you need to figure out how to do it properly. I embarrassed him. He forever was the guy that got counter-bullied or something. That's not something you want to have. That's not a title I wanted to have. It helped me. It stopped me from getting bullied, but it wasn't the right way. Anyways, guys, hopefully your lives are good. Step in when you can. Make a difference to other people. You never know what state they're in. Have a good day, guys. I'm out.